Good afternoon. It is 6:43. Today is pretty much a wash. I have not much to show for today, but I said I was going to make 100 videos in 100 days. So that means even if I don't have any physical work to show you that, hey, I said I was going to do this. And the thing is, I said I was going to make 100 videos in 100 days, and the content was supposed to be I'm going to shoot for a 1% improvement every day in something that is easily measurable, and that is uh, starting day one with 100 minutes dedicated to an art project, whatever the art project happens to be, depending on what I've finished in this time and moved on to the next. I would just add a minute a day and compound it daily. Um, Today I did about well, we're up to like 110 minutes, so I was going to do just three 28-minute sessions. I did one. It was for whatever reason I am out of sorts, and I just could not bring to bear the grit needed to just do this thing. So I'm making the video. I am at least on average doing 1% better in total. Even if I'm not doing it with this specific thing that's easily measurable, which was supposed to be the topic of these more or less. Um, there are of course other things I'm doing in my life, and um, in terms of sleep and eating, I'm really good on those. And I just mentioned that because if you get on motivation videos or discipline or anything along those lines, diet and sleep are two of the things that are just going to come up over and over again. I'm drinking a little more water on average. I didn't drink much today. Maybe that's part of the problem, but I drink a lot of coffee and tea. And one thing we need to realize when we talk about staying hydrated, water might be best, but everything else has water in it. So you can't just discount that. I should drink more water, but it's not like I'm dehydrated. It's like I should drink more water as opposed to drinking coffee. Just that. Um, I came up with a word today. I'm gonna look for the sheet that I filled out this morning because you hear words like persistence and perseverance and stuff like that, and I came up with a better word: fortitude. Fortitude is what I'm looking for, and today I definitely failed in that respect. I did not have the fortitude necessary to stay on track and do the small steps it takes to achieve the large goals. So I'm working on fortitude. I have to tell you, and in that sense, what I'm actually doing is telling myself I have failed you today. But this is not a huge chasm that is opened underneath my feet. It was a bad day, and I've had a few now back to back. This is probably day three, and this is the worst of the three. So it's just slowly getting worse day by day. I've gone through this before. I'm sure pretty much anybody with any kind of life experience has gone through the same thing. You have a bad day and you think, I'll make up for it tomorrow, and the next day's even worse, and you're like, well, it's just a little slump. I'll do better tomorrow. And uh, the thing is, like everybody else, I'm assuming, we've all been through these and we've all snapped out of it. I think this is going to be great therapy for me. Now I've laid this out on the line, and I know this about speaking in meetings and among friends or what have you. A lot of times when something is bothering me and it just maybe not necessarily seems overwhelming, but bigger than it actually is, if I just blurt it out and hear what it sounds like, it's oftentimes, dude, that's what you're complaining about? I mean, I'll be telling myself, you know how lame that sounds? Just get over yourself. You know what you need to do. Just do it. And basically, that's it. So that's where I'm at today. Um, and I don't, I, this is funny because I do listen to a lot of like inspirational, motivational videos, what have you. And I'm trying to cut back on that and just apply the stuff as opposed to watching over and over again. But one video, the guy is reading off a script, and I'm assuming it's human. It might even be computer generated voice just reading text, but it keeps talking about the Nike slogan, just do it. But it keeps calling it Nike, Nike. It just keeps saying Nike, just do it. So, human or computer, they obviously do not comprehend that Nike is Nike. Uh, the thing about just do it though is for somebody like me, and depending on the project, certainly just do it sounds like biting off that whole big chunk. Whereas somebody has couched it in this term, which I think is much more appropriate. Just get started. That I can deal with, and between the just get started and just do it, there are a whole number of tools that I have learned, and most of which I have used, and most of it just most of it revolves around doing a bare minimum. And if you do that bare minimum, whether it's write a word, step out the door, pick up the pencil and point it towards the board. You know, depending on what your project is, just do that least minimal thing, and then if you want to do more, do more. Some people say it like that. If you're writing, write down one word. If you can't if you can't write a word, write one letter. Just anything to get started. And if that's all you want to do, well then fine. You're done for the day. Do it again tomorrow. Some people say do it for 2 minutes. Some people say do it for 10 minutes. For me, it just depends on the project and what I'm going to set for a minimum based on whatever the criteria I'm using at that moment is. But yeah, you know, there's days when I don't even. Today is an example. I did one session, so I've actually done a little more on this painting that I could bang that thing out in 2 days if I just put my nose to the grindstone and worked on it for eh, well, 4 to 8 hours both days, probably an average of, well, somewhere around 6 hours a day. I could definitely get that finished. Today I was lucky to churn out 28 minutes, so that 6 hour a day thing is not happening today, anyways. Yeah, boy, I thought I was just gonna get on and say like 2 sentences and say, okay, I got my video in for the day, time to move on. But again, like I've said about talking in meetings or you know, with groups, with friends, whatever. Sometimes when I just say what I'm going through, it's like, you know what? I'm not even asking for help. I'm just saying it to hear out loud what I've been thinking for the last 12 hours. And what I've been thinking for the last 12 hours is I want to do this stuff. Why aren't I doing it? I know what I need to do. Uh, I got links down below. Patreon. Nobody's visiting my Patreon page. Please just stop by and say hello. Patreon, subscribe if you would. Like, ring the notification bell. Don't smash it. Everybody in all their videos tells you to smash the notification bell. I did that one time. I broke the mouse. I broke the bell. YouTube was very upset with me. Plus, I had to replace my mouse. Okay, enough. I thank you for watching. And if you didn't watch, well then, what's wrong with you, man? Oh, by the way, I got my FaceTime camera on iMovie back up and running. Don't even ask me how. It was so simple, I'm embarrassed to say. Alright, talk to you tomorrow.